Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I'm out on my lunchtime walk. There was a few matches that I needed to put a bow on for SummerSlam to finish up my my full show preview. One of the matches that was added to SummerSlam was Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Honestly, this is a match that I don't really understand what is going on. I know the backstory. I've seen all the steps along the way. Basically, the Karrion Kross character, I don't even really know any of his storylines that had ever panned out. But he's been a guy that's always appearing in the back, trying to expose the truth of AJ Styles and now Sami Zayn. And, trying to say that they have, bad feelings in their heart, that they're truly bad guys. And I'll tell you the truth, I want to believe the Sami Zayn heel turn is coming sooner than later. I felt ever since the Raw after WrestleMania, when he was out there yeeting with Jey Uso, that it was coming. I didn't know that it was going to take quite this long, but I don't think Karrion Kross is the guy that's going to expose it. I think it's going to be Sami Zayn just almost having a moment of weakness, almost of desperation, where he has to do his friend wrong in order to fulfill his quest of becoming a world champion in WWE. I thought that was going to involve him having the money in the bank, and then maybe cashing in on Jey Uso because the opportunity was there. He just happened to be standing there when somebody came out and laid out Jey, and he has these conflicting moments of do I, don't I, when else am I going to have a chance? I want this belt so bad that it's overcoming to me. But I mean, other than that, Karrion Kross is just, trying to beat this out of him. And, on Monday, they have the sort of face-to-face when Sami Zayn is having the sit-down interview. And Karrion Kross just basically gives him the weapon of choice. He gives him the lead pipe. He places it in his lap, or he places it in his hands. I can't quite remember. So Sami Zayn finishes the interview with the weapon there. Now, does the weapon come into play at SummerSlam? I would guess so. I think that's going to be the main focal point of this. Karrion Kross, it hasn't been announced. I know that when he had his big promo after WrestleMania and that documentary came out about his week, I thought that Karrion Kross is a really cool dude. I'm not going to tell you that I was a huge fan of his or anything like that. I mean, when his t-shirt was announced and rolled out, I didn't buy one, so I'm not going to say that I've been with him since day one, but I think he is a cool dude, and I bought his book when it went up for sale. I'm sure that once the book gets rolled out sooner than later, I'll get my copy. And I don't really even know it's about his wrestling career. I think it's more about his life. But he seemed like somebody that I wanted to get to know more about. When he was in WWE, when he had the Final Testament, I thought that group was just badass. I didn't understand how those guys lost. All three of those guys were freaking huge. They had one of the best managers in the history of the game. And Scarlett is one of the baddest chicks in WWE. I remember, seeing her wrestle when she was in TNA. I remember seeing her wrestle on the Indies. And the fact that WWE doesn't even use her, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But then up until this point, they weren't even using Karrion Kross. Now, Kross having a match on SummerSlam, you would think that dude's getting re-signed. I mean, why else would they give him this much exposure, putting him on there. But I don't really know what the next steps are. If I was in charge, the way I think it's going to play out, I think that Sami Zayn is going to win at SummerSlam. God's honest truth, but I still think that they're playing out this storyline, and Zayn's not going to have to say that, he's a bad dude and he wants to turn heel, or whatever the words are that he has to say at the end. But Zayn's saying that he'll do whatever, Karrion wants him to do if he beats him. I think the shock is going to be Sami's actual heel turn, or it's going to be in a moment when you don't know what's happening until it's happening. But like, you can see, we're going to have warning to yell at TV like, no, Sami, don't do it, and he's going to do it. But I don't think that they're going to, you're not going to see it basically until it happens. It's going to be a moment of shock and awe is what I think it's going to be. So SummerSlam, Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross. I got Sami getting the win here. But in the long run, I think we're going to see Karrion Kross proving that he was right, that Sami is a bad dude.